Hello and welcome to Cinemaholics, where we review the biggest and best films coming to theaters and streaming online. One of us is a film critic, one is a casual moviegoer. The third person is me, your host, John Negroni from the Internet, California. On the show today, we have from the Internet, Pennsylvania. He is our film critic, and he is also a pop culture writer for Cinema Blend. Hello, Will Ashton.
Hey, good day.
From the broadband basement, he's our sound producer. He's also our casual moviegoer and a perfect gentleman. It's Soundmaster Matt Kynes.
Hello.
All right, welcome to Cinemaholics. You can find more episodes of our review show on adamtickets.com. And we have just a couple of off topics this week because this is our winning review preview episode. We asked you last week, okay, do you want us to talk about Creed 2? We didn't talk about Creed 2. And I still haven't watched Creed 2. I watched so many things this week, but Creed 2 slipped through my grasp. Will, did you see it?
I did, yeah.
Oh, can you give us a one-sentence review?
Of Creed 2?
Yeah. A few people voted for it.
It's good stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, that's Creed 2. We'll see you next week on Cinemaholics. And
right.
No, obviously not. So we're going to do, you guys voted in our Patreon poll for us to do a winter movie preview. So we're going to be talking about all of the films that are coming out basically starting next week all the way through February. Some people count December as fall because something involving the solstice. I don't know. I don't have a calendar. But we count it as December because it gets cold, chilly. It's the holidays. I think it works for our purposes. But real quick, we have an announcement. We have a last call episode, bonus episode that's out right now. Will Ashton, what is it? What should listeners check it out?
I hope so. I mean, it is my A Ogre to its Ogre host and co-host, myself, Matt Serafini, and Christopher Sheridan. We decided to talk about 2018's The Grinch, which was made by Illumination. I talked about it a little bit in mini reviews a couple episodes ago, but this is a more in-depth conversation. We kind of talk about the history of Grinch adaptations and a lot of off topics. It gets pretty weird. It's a weird discussion all around, but I think it's pretty fun. I hope people check it out.
I greatly enjoyed it. As somebody who actually liked The Grinch a bit better than all three of you,
yeah,
I really enjoyed all your takes. I really enjoyed... I don't know. There were a few things in there that were eye-opening. Some interesting facts that I didn't know about involving Grinch history. So that's a good discussion. Also, so this was a week where it's Oscar season, and you know what that means. Lots of movies are coming out. We're about to do a whole preview episode about a lot of these films. The problem is, there's going to be a lot of releases conflicting. So we're trying to figure out, okay, should we do bonus episodes of Cinemaholics where we sit down and we do some of these things that we don't have time for in the main episode? Like this week, I saw Mary Poppins Returns. We're not doing mini reviews yet, and we're not allowed to talk about the film until like the
9th. I think the 9th. Or it's that week. I don't know when, but
it's It's sometime around then, and so we don't know. Okay, should we do like a catch-up episode or something like that? Because I also saw Roma, which is an Oscar contender, The Favorite, Shoplifters. There are all of these like Oscar-y movies coming out that I'm worried, Will Ashton, that they're going to fall through the cracks. I don't know how to talk about them on the show because how do I get Maverick Kynes to watch The Favorite? Is basically
well, he likes Yorgos Lanthimos. Just tell him it's him.
Yeah, I want to tell you right now, Maverick, because I've been waiting for this. The Favorite is easily my favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film, but that might be why it's not going to be your favorite.
I'll have to see it and see what happens.
I did hear. Yeah, I heard it's his most accessible, which is kind of interesting because I guess before that his most accessible was Lobster, which really wouldn't be considered accessible by most standards. So that's what intrigues me the most.
I agree with that assessment, but it makes it sound like it's a mainstream film, and it's not. The reason people are saying that is because he didn't write the film. So it's the first film he's directed that he didn't write, I believe. And so the film it's not exactly his dry, wry wit. It's still witty, but it's like really funny. It's just like laugh out loud funny. Still dry, but it's definitely not his dialogue. So, and I think it's why it's my favorite, because I think that's the style of him that I probably enjoy more. But hopefully we can talk about The Favorite on a future episode to some extent. I just worry. we're in talks. We're thinking about doing a special Mary Poppins episode with a friend of the show. And so if you have any suggestions, if there are any movies in particular that you want to hear about that we that aren't like the big poppy wide releases. Hopefully we can get to that in the near future. But for now, let's talk about films coming out in the next couple of months. It's our seasonal movie preview. I did a first for Cinemaholics. I've been keeping our picks from like months prior, or seasons prior, I should say. So I have everything back from like when we talked about our most anticipated of the summer, which is funny stuff. I'm like looking at it right now actually, and I think Will, your fall preview is especially interesting because two of the films that you picked for your most anticipated of the fall, two of your favorite films of the year. Where were they?
Mandy and Suspiria.
Yeah.
I know my brand.
Right. I picked First Man, which I did really like, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and If Beale Street Could Talk, which is funny because Beale Street Could Talk, it was supposed to come out in November in a limited theatrical release, and it got pushed to a limited in December. So you might actually be hearing about this movie, not from me, later, so that's a little teaser. Maverick, so you picked Bad Times at the El Royale, Halloween, and Boy Erased. Now, you saw all three, right?
I saw one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't see Halloween, right?
You saw Boy Erased, didn't you?
No.
Why did I think you saw that?
Because you had come back from seeing it, and I was like, whoops, I need to see that.
Oh, no. But you like Bad Times, right?
Yeah, I really like Bad Times.
That's good. Yeah, so now we're going to get into our winter films. This time, I went first last time. Maverick, start us off. We each picked 3 films. We're going to go through them. And we have some honorable mentions too. So we're going to try to cover basically everything that's kind of on our radar. Obviously, we're not going to mention every film that's coming out in the next couple of months. There's a lot. But hopefully we're going to catch a lot of ones that you should maybe have on your radar. So Maverick, start us off. What's the most important movie coming out the soonest? We're gonna go by release date here.
My soonest release is the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie, which I have a feeling is going to be on a lot of people's list right now with the Spider-Man hype around the world. So should be cool. I know that you've seen it.
I saw it yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and you had good things to say when you came home last night talking about it, but it looks pretty cool. I'm really interested in kind of this unique style of film with like the digital kind of animation stuff and this complexity of all the different Spider-Men and Spider-Women we will see. So it looks really interesting, and there's been kind of a lot of hype around it, like steadily growing. So I'm really excited to see how that all pays off. You had mentioned that it was really funny, and that makes me like excited.
Yeah, well, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were producers behind it, and they're a big reason. Yeah, they're a big reason this film is as good as it is. I think Phil Lord did the story, I believe. But yeah, this is easily like I really liked Spider-Man: Homecoming. I thought it was great movie, great Marvel flick. This is one of the best superhero films in the last decade, I think. Like this film is terrific.
Really?
So I cannot wait to talk more about it. There's a version of Peter Parker in here that is the definitive, like it's the Jake Johnson voiced version where he's like a little bit older. He's kind of like given up on like being Spider-Man, and like the way you learn about like why I don't know. This movie's inventive. It's funny. I hope that this movie makes a big impact at the box office, just because I really hope people come out and see it, because it is an interesting time. I mean, it's competing with Aquaman, I guess, but I was thinking about it today. If this had come out in February when Black Panther was coming out, if it had come out, trying to overshadow Avengers Infinity War or Incredibles 2 or Ant-Man and the Wasp, this one might have actually been buried. So I'm actually kind of impressed that Sony, in association with Marvel, decided on a December release. I think it's pretty bold. And this is the best animated film of the year. If this doesn't win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, somebody's messing up, basically.
Wow.
So, can't wait to talk about it.
High praise.
Yeah, the hype is real. And so far, I haven't seen anybody like poke a balloon in the hype, because like it's been pretty unanimous from what I can tell. Have you seen any naysayers, Will?
The lowest I've seen is a 3 out of 5.
Okay, yeah. I'm guessing Armand White.
No, it wasn't him.
It's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know how many reviews are on there at this point, right? Like 30 maybe?
52.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, looking pretty good.
I mean, I've been hearing really great praise from people, even people who aren't really that big onto superhero films. Like they're even saying like this is amazing.
Right.
Check it out. So
Chris Evangelista, I think he specifically said more superhero movies like this, less like all the other ones.
those are good.
Yeah, and I was going to say Alex Dowd as well, AV Club. He really liked this one, and he's been a pretty vocal critic of the superhero formula. But yeah, I hope you guys are going to be able to check it out in the next couple of weeks, and I think that episode when we talk about this film is going to be terrific.
Sounds fun.
Maybe we'll have a little special guest. Will Ashton, you're next. What should we be talking about?
Yeah, well, you hinted already, and you talked about it last month, so I don't know if I'll go too far into it, but it's If Bailey Street Could Talk. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's the new film from Barry Jenkins, who is best known as a director of Moonlight. This is his passion project for quite a while, and he finally got to make it off the success and acclaim of Moonlight, and it's based on the book of the same name by James Baldwin, which I'm currently reading now, and I guess, John, you're reading as well. Mm-hmm. So it's very well received, both the book and the film. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know what we haven't said already about the film, and I'm kind of going in beyond what I know about the book pretty cold, so I'm just excited to get into it because it looks really great, and I'm hoping it's as good as it looks.
Bale Street, Memphis, Tennessee.
There you go, Bale Street.
Bale.
Yeah. Apparently this is like a French word, so that's why I think there's been some confusion, because you want to read it as Beale, but I think in French it would be Bale, so Christian Bale Street. Yeah.
Christian Bale Street, all right. Star of
That's
Vice.
how you remember.
Or Vice. I don't know.
Thank you for getting that right. No one else has. Obviously reading the book as well, getting a kick out of it. I'm curious though, because I've seen lukewarm reactions from the festival circuit. Not lukewarm in the sense that it's like average, but lukewarm of like, okay, it's just not. It's not Moonlight. It's not going to get like the best picture this time. It'll get a nomination, but
interesting.
I think people are championing Widows over this one. Maybe more of.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's some reactions. Obviously, I'm summing up some people's thoughts,
I mean,
we could see.
It's interesting because I've actually heard the opposite. I've heard some people say it's as good, and some people say it's even better than Moonlight, and that they're like, I've heard people say outright, like, this is why I love going to movies. This is a great film. So.
I guess I've just seen people who say that the trailer is better and the cinematography is fantastic, but it's just not. I guess some people, and we're obviously being very nebulous, so who knows? Who knows?
I mean,
how good
it's hard to top Moonlight. I mean, that is one of the best films of the decade, so I can understand, reception being a little mixed in that regard. But what I've heard from people who like it a lot has really made me inspired to see it.
Right. So it's definitely one that we're all going to check out. So If Bale Street Can Talk and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, those two are going to be coming out December 14th. My first one actually comes out a week before that. December 7th is going to be, I believe, the limited release of Vox Lux.
Ooh, I'm looking for this too.
I don't know if this will get a wide release. I doubt it. And so this is it's a drama film. It's not biographical as far as I can tell. It's about, I was kind of looking into this because I don't know anything about these characters. I don't even know if this is a true story or not, but I haven't seen any evidence that these are real people, but Celeste Montgomery, is that a real person?
No, but I think it's like, what's the word? Like an amalgamation or like a mix of different famous pop stars.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking because I didn't want to get that wrong. So Natalie Portman is the front runner in this. She leads this with Jude Law, and it is about a group of sisters who are performers. They perform and compose their own songs, and something like tragic happens to them, and their manager tries to like make something of their careers. It's one of those films that like it comes across more as like a feeling than it does like a really riveting story. The reason this is one of my most anticipated, mainly it's because everything else that I've wanted to see that's coming out just like the winter months, I've already seen. So like I'm really just sort of picking something that has piqued my interest, but just not as much as some of the other films that I think are probably going to be much more interesting than this. But this premiered at Venice International Film Festival, and it's been pretty mixed reception-wise, but mostly positive. It has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. the main reason I picked this though is the trailer just grabs me every time. I think so. Saya did the music for this. She didn't score it, but she did like original songs. And if you watch the Vox Lux trailer, the score, which is done by Scott Walker, and Saya's music, everything like put together, I believe, is so just haunting to me. Like it just scratches something in me that makes me want to see this so much just for the music alone. I feel like this is more of a Maverick Hines kind of a reason to pick a movie. But yeah, Will, you've seen this trailer? Do you agree, or do you think that I'm overblown on this one?
No, like I said, I'm really looking forward to it as well. I'm mainly excited because it is the sophomore film from director Brady Corbett, who is probably best known as an actor. He was in the remake of Funny Games as one of the home invaders. He was also in Mysterious Skin, Simon Killer. I think he co-wrote that film, Clouds of Silmara, I believe. Is that what it's called?
Maria. Yeah, which is a pretty good film.
Yeah, no, I like those films as well. But yeah, he also made a film a couple years ago. I think he was like 26 when he made it. So he's about our age. He made the film called The Childhood of a Leader, which is on Netflix now with Robert Pattinson. And it's really, really good. I am really thoroughly impressed with that, especially the music. The way he incorporates music into his films is really good. And the trailer for this film suggests as much as well. So I see a lot of promise in him as a filmmaker. And I hope that I like the film as much as I liked his first film. So I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I still haven't seen The Childhood of a Leader, so I'm kind of looking at it like, should I I should prep for Vox Lux. I'm gonna see Vox Lux tomorrow, actually. So hopefully I'll be able to have a good reaction to it, and this list won't be regrettable that quickly.
Yeah, if you watch Shadow of a Leader, watch it loud.
Okay, so Maverick Hines, what's your next one? This one also comes out on the 14th. In fact, I noticed that all of your films come out on the 14th day of a month.
That was actually my criteria when picking them.
Middle of the month, that's when you go.
I'm a 14th kind of guy. It's the day before payday.
You're ready to see it.
Yeah, so this is The Mule, Clint Eastwood's latest shebang in drama wonderfulness. I really, really liked the trailer when I saw it. I've seen it a couple times now, and it seemed interesting to me. It kind of gave me some vibes of, what's that last one he did that I can't remember the name of?
1517 to Paris?
Nope, the one before that, I guess.
Sully?
Oh, wow. I'm way behind then. Before that?
Are you talking about Gran Torino?
Yeah.
I was going to say, maybe American Sniper.
Gran Torino was 10 years ago, man.
Is it really? I saw it like 3 years ago, so...
Yeah,
that's okay. Maverick's been busy.
Yeah, I've been doing stuff for 10 years. So I just kind of got some very similar vibes to that in style of movie for this one. So I was really excited because I really enjoyed that movie, and this one looks really cool. As John said, it comes out December 14th. A 90-year-old World War II veteran is caught transporting $3 million worth of cocaine through Michigan for a Mexican drug cartel, is the synopsis on IMDb. So seems kind of tense and crazy, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, this one's based on a New York Times article called "The Sinaloa Cartel's 90-Year-Old Drug Mule" by Sam Dolnick, which, I don't know. The trailer hasn't... Every time I see the trailer, I am just sort of... there's something about like watching Clint Eastwood act again that is kind of... it's not working for me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's... Maybe I just have issues with Clint Eastwood on a personal level, and I'm letting that paint it. I don't know. But for some reason, I just don't want to see this one, and I'm kind of about it. But
I'm
fine.
The opposite. Yeah, no, this is like the first Clint Eastwood movie I've been looking forward to in years.
Yeah, I know people are excited to see it. I don't think it's hit any festivals or anything yet, so I don't know.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, he only started making it in April. Like, that's when he signed on to the film, and he made it over. And he shot it over the summer, and then Warner Brothers like checked in, like, "Hey, how's the film going? We were thinking about releasing it, next year, like in 2019 for the award season." He's like, "Oh, it's done."
What? Clint Eastwood's like
no, it's done.
He's pretty well known for doing everything in one take, even if it's not ready. So, which has had mixed results, but I think more positive than not, because he's a very efficient filmmaker. So
yeah, well, we've had fairly violent arguments about Sully over the years.
Come on,
violent.
We've had tumultuous consternations over Sully.
No, I like violent. Let's go with that.
All right, well, yeah, The Mule, December 14th. I think that's going to have to overshadow Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, actually. I think that's going to have to be the featured review. So
I agree.
Okay, Will Ashton. All right, your film comes out a little later compared to these ones. It's not coming out till February. What is it?
Yeah, my choice is they go straight to February.
None of us picked a January movie, by the way, which is interesting.
Usually telling, yeah. I mean, sometimes there are good films in January. We shouldn't dismiss the whole month.
There's some in my honorable mentions, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, my second film is the Lego Movie 2, the second part, which is the second film on our list come from Phil Lord and Chris Miller as executive producers, at least. Mm-hmm. It's a sequel to the 2014 film, The Lego Movie, which I consider one of the most inventive and charming and surprisingly kind of poignant animated films of this decade. Like a lot of people, I was really blown away by how good that film was. And I think that really, for me, cemented the greatness of Phil Lord and Chris Miller as storytellers. Because by then, I was only really familiar with them through 21 Jump Street and maybe a few other things. I wasn't aware of Clone High and a couple of things like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that the sequel, I don't expect it to be as good as the first. But I'm hoping
isn't it directed by the Shrek Forever After guy?
Mike Mitchell?
Yeah.
Well, let's call him Sky High guy.
I was going to say I love Sky High, actually, but
Sky High was very good. He did Trolls as well, which is a little concerning. But
and
yeah,
Deuce Bigelow, Chickalove.
Oh, which one? The first one or second one?
That's the first one, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, the 99
yeah. Oh, I just heard Deuce Bigelow. I didn't hear what the
Male Gigolo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's the first one. Yeah, so he's got kind of a varied career behind the camera, but he has a lot of talented people involved with this. The voice cast once again finds Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, Charlie Day, and I forget who else is involved in the first movie again.
Alison
but there's also
Brie,
Alison Brie,
Will Arnett.
there you go.
Nick Offerman, I think, was he in the first one too?
I don't think he was in the first one.
I think he's just in this one, maybe, in Maya Rudolph.
Yeah. And then Tiffany Haddish is in as well, and what's her name? One of the stars from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, is in this one
Stephanie
too.
Beatriz.
There you go, yeah. So it's a pretty full cast, and it also has, I don't know if it's rewrites or an actual screenplay credit to Ralph Bo Weisberg, the creator of BoJack Horseman, is involved as a writer in this as well. So I think there's a lot of talented people in here. I'm hoping it's at least a fitting sequel to the first one, and I'm pretty excited to see it.
Yeah. I think the trailer is really funny. I think it's pretty good about not giving out too much information. It just kind of like walks you through where are they now, and then gives you the setup for like what the real movie will be about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one too. It still hurts that this one didn't even get nominated for Best Animated. It could.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, because it could have won. It could have won that year because 2014 was like, gosh, there was no Pixar movie, if I recall, and there was no Disney movie, right?
I mean, when people talk about like snubs, I remember that year, like everyone was like, "Oh, well, Lego Movie's a given." So like, what else is going to fill the category? And then when it got snubbed, was it snubbed just because like the Academy looked down on nominating a film called The Lego Movie?
Yeah, I think like the Academy has weird things about like licensing and licensed movies, and it probably just got that bias against it or something. Yeah. I don't know. I misspoke. Sorry. Big Hero 6 won that year. That was the Disney film. And I think Box Trolls also got a nomination. But
yeah, I like Box Trolls, but
yeah, Book of Life and Song of the Sea. But
okay.
Yeah, this movie, I don't know. That could have beaten Big Hero 6. I like both of those movies.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally liked Lego Movie more than Big Hero 6, so
I think it also I think it also hurt it that it came out way earlier in the year, and that sometimes the conversation just tends to fizzle. But
yeah, it was a February movie as well. So
yeah. Next year is going to be interesting in 2019 because that year you're going to have Toy Story 4. And I don't think Disney has anything coming out next year except for Frozen 2. So a couple of sequels. So Lego Movie 2, Frozen 2, Toy Story 4. It might be...
Well, this year they had sequels too, right? With Wreck-It Ralph 2 and...
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2, yeah.
Yeah. So which is making me think that an Isle of Dogs might get an Oscar nomination for Wes Anderson. But Yeah, it's making me think that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which isn't a sequel, it's not an adaptation really. It's kind of an adaptation on some of the comics and some of the Spider-Verse concepts, but it's making me think that Best Animated should go to that one because it's easily the most original. So anyway, that's Oscar talk. Lego Movie 2, February 8th. All right, next up, I have also something that's not a sequel, but it's part of a cinematic universe. And if you had told me a few weeks ago that this would be on my list of most anticipated films of the winter movie season, I probably would have told you, oh, I'm probably seeing too many films right before we talk about this episode that are going to cancel things out. But that's also the case here, and that's Aquaman is a film that I'm actually looking forward to now, thanks to some seriously positive word of mouth coming out of the first screenings for this one. So this comes out December 21st. I think we're going to be seeing it December 15th or 16th or something like that. Yeah. But that's going to be a tough week because that's the same week as Bumblebee, Holmes and Watson, some pretty major releases. I think Mortal Engines is going to be out around that time.
Yeah.
They're really, they're just like dogpiling blockbusters in the middle of December. But Aquaman, actually, I'm hearing really good things about. If you don't know, this is the latest from the DC films. This is in the DC extended cinematic universe. This is Jason Momoa reprises his role as Aquaman. We first saw him in, we first saw him in Batman vs. Superman via short cameo, but he also had a major presence in Justice League. He's definitely one of the more interesting characters in that film, in my opinion. I know, Will Ashton, you got a kick out of some of his lines in that. In a movie that I think both of you and I found extremely mediocre. To me, he was like a shining, he had something, he had energy, where I think other parts of the movie didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Flash stole the show, but I thought he was one of the few things that was good in a fairly bad film.
Well, this is his origin film. I believe it takes place after the events of Justice League. You kind of get that impression, like he's been Aquaman for a while, but he definitely isn't. He's just not as ingrained with Atlantis. He doesn't visit as often or something. And this is his origin film. We're going to find out where did he come from. It's going to be doing the classic Aquaman story, and it looks like they're combining a lot of versions of the character together, including like everything from because his costume right now is very reminiscent of like some of the 90s versions of him. But now some of the latest marketing is showing that they're going to be doing some things with him that are a little bit closer to, him him in like the old school golden age Aquaman. So anyway, all that said, I heard that this one, it's not amazing, but I heard that it's very entertaining and it's a really solid effort. It's got some good superhero DNA in it. I'm a little bit less on it now that I've seen Spider-Verse, which is just such an original concept, and it's just so I don't know. There's something about that that's maybe poisoned me against a lot of superhero films because I feel like it's kind of changed the game in a couple of ways. That might be overstating it. I'm not sure, but I think if this one's at least decently entertaining, and I think Jason Momoa is just a really great presence, and I just like what he does with this character and just makes Aquaman just a badass, which I really dig. So my only concerns is I hope that the effects are better than what they look like right now. I think that's the main thing is it just looks so just not polished to me, but I'm hoping, seeing this maybe in Dolby or something will definitely smooth out those rough edges, and this one will be something to watch. So that's Aquaman. We'll be talking about that later in the month. We haven't really talked, guys, about what we're going to be doing for the Christmas season, how we're going to be doing Cinemaholics. We did something weird last year. We did, let's see, you and Matt Serafini talked about Bright and downsizing.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think we talked about Greatest Showman and Jumanji right before we left for break, the holiday break, I guess. So we'll have to discuss what are we going to do this year. There's going to be a lot of moving around, so...
I guess we should put up that Patreon.
They're good at picking for us.
Yeah. So whatever they want is what we'll do. But I should mention, I have seen Aquaman. I'm embargoed, so I can't say how I feel about it. But I am very curious to talk about with you.
Don't you have social media freedom on this one?
I don't think so. Not for this one. I do for Mary Poppins, but I believe I'm pretty strictly embargoed for this one.
Right. In fact, we should probably mention, so Mary Poppins returns. Both you and I saw this. We're not going to belabor it. We can't really review it. But I think I can say now that my main thing with Mary Poppins is that it's more Mary Poppins. And I think a lot of people are going to like it. I think that it's like worthy of like an honorable mention here, that I think it's going to be a big holiday film success, and like you could do way worse. And there are things about it that I really enjoyed. So I think that it's kind of a little delightful movie. It's not like, it doesn't have like the Paddington charm to it, but it kind of goes for it. That's all I'll say for now, because I think going any further would be review territory. But
yeah.
Okay, so Maverick, what's your last one? This one comes out in February as well, right?
February 14th, to be exact.
Yeah, because it's got to be that day.
I'm booked out until February now.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I don't know what about this trailer has made me so excited for this movie, but I really am. It looks super unique and kind of like it's going to be sneaky awesome. Like, I'm just getting kind of some epic vibes from it. So I'm really excited to see a CGI robot girl beat up everybody, and it seems super exciting. No, it looks really cool, and I'm really excited to see it. I remember the first time we saw the preview, I was like, wait, is that going to be good? Like, because
you haven't said what the movie is.
Did I not?
Well, no.
Oh, I guess because I thought you already did. Whoops,
Yeah.
My bad. Alita Battle Angel. I should have just made him guess. Never said it.
Yeah, right.
What movie am I talking about, everybody?
Mr. Police, I gave you all the clues.
Yeah, sorry. Alita Battle Angel, which comes out on February 14th. And then everything else I already said. I've completely thrown myself off now.
Have you seen the anime, Maverick?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were a fan of that or not.
Never been a big anime guy. Didn't know there was an anime for this.
Yeah.
Maybe I will check it out.
Well, I don't
it's
know,
an older one.
Is it just anime, or is it based on a graphic novel? I forget.
It's originally a manga. It was created by Yukito Kishiro. It came out in the 90s, and I want to say I think the manga came out in the 80s, and then it was either the 80s or the early 90s, and then I think the anime came out in like later in the 90s, I want to say.
Yeah. But this is a film that James Cameron has been trying to get off the ground for, I think, 2 decades now.
Yeah, with John Landau. They're big fans of the source material, and Robert Rodriguez is doing this one. Yeah,
because I guess Cameron was just like, I have 5 Avatar movies to make for some reason. So I can't do this one.
Technically, he did work on the screenplay.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
which
with someone else.
It's not really the thing I like most about Cameron. I don't really care for him as a writer as compared to a filmmaker. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I can see where you're coming from, Maverick, where like it's like kind of like a worrisome recommendation, because this could be like another Ghost in the Shell situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think it was smart to move this to February out of December.
Well, it was originally supposed to come out in the summer, and then they moved it to December. Then they moved it to February. In fact, I was re-listening to our winter movie last year, and we mentioned this movie because the trailer had just come out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, it looks kind of fun. And then John was not about it.
I think the eyes are creepy. You don't find the eyes creepy, Maverick?
No, I'm all about it.
I don't like it. It's weird.
Well, I'm sorry.
I hope it's good.
Me too.
It's a big question mark. It's like a big like, this could be amazing or this could be terrible. But that's kind of exciting. You know, you just don't know.
I'm along for the ride either way.
Yeah, it's got Christoph Waltz and Mahershala Ali. Maverick, I mean, is it the action? Because I know the action's kind of kinetic in it, and that part of it kind of is interesting to me.
Yeah, I think the potential fight scenes and craziness are really, that's like all I'm banking on. I don't really care about the story as much. I'm just like hoping for some really cool shots.
Kind of has like a AI vibe to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
In terms of the story, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get more Ghost in the Shell vibes, which is what's worrying me, but I hope I'm completely wrong on this one.
Don't say that.
Will Ashton, your next one is kind of a Cinemaholics insider favorite.
Yeah, I mean, a Twitter favorite for me too, I suppose.
Walk us through this one. This is, again, Valentine's Day, competing with the Alita Battle Angel.
And it's very on brand for me. It's Happy Death Day to You, which, John, you got the exclusive on that title, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
You broke that one, and we had a nice exchange with the director and writer, Christopher Landon. He seemed very nice.
Yeah, so what happened was I tweeted that the sequel to the movie should be called Happy Death Day to You. At that point, nobody had like announced it, and then Christopher Landon actually said, "Hey, that's actually what it's going to be." So we got the source on that when it was
scoop.
Yeah.
Man, but
it was a good guess.
Yeah. So I seem to be in the minority in the Cinemaholics conversation when I actually think Happy Death Day 1 is a lot of fun. Or actually trying to be fun. Like, you guys think it's fun in a sort of ironic fashion.
To be super fair, all three of us had a blast watching this movie. We all laughed. We all had fun with it. The difference was that Maverick and I laughed at it, and you laughed with it.
But I think the thing is that the movie, it sold itself as like a horror film, but it's actually like a pop comedy. Like, it's kind of going for something. It's not what it sells itself as directly.
Are we still doing this?
Yeah.
Is this still happening, Will?
And I'm going to take this to my grave with this. This is the way it has to be. Anyway, yeah, I think for me, though, what really made it work was Jessica Roth's performance. I thought she brought a lot of energy and warmth and inspiration to her performance that really sold it. I mean, especially, because that was a performance where she's in the film for every single scene, nearly every frame, and she made the most of it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to top it with the second one, which the trailer came online yesterday or Friday, actually. So I just saw the trailer recently. It was attached to Halloween for quite a while, and they, for some reason, didn't put it online until recently. But it looks fun. Like, it looks pretty inspired, and I am very, very curious to see where it's going to go. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope it's good.
Yeah. She Jessica Roth. She was only in one other movie this year, Forever My Girl.
Yeah,
which I didn't see. I heard it was not the worst thing in the world, but it's the country music kind of Nicholas Sparks inspired.
She was also in Please Stand By with Dakota Fanning as well.
Right. Yeah, that was last year.
No, that was this year.
Well, didn't it come out in 2017, and then it was like...
No, that was January, man.
It's January, really?
Maybe festival-wise it came out last year, but release-wise it came out.
Yeah, I think it, because this is the Dakota Fanning one, I think it premiered at the festivals in 2017, and then, I guess it was like right at the very beginning. Did we talk about Please Stand By? Because I remember seeing the trailer for that. Yeah. That was so that's the one where it's like Star Trek. She's a Star Trek fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, you did talk about it on the show. Sorry, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, Happy Death Day to You is her next film, and she doesn't have any other films on the pipeline.
No, that's not true. Valley Girl's coming up, right? She did a remake of Valley Girl.
Oh, see, I haven't seen anything official for that. So, from what I can tell, this is the last thing that she's got on deck. So I hope that's not the case.
No, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know when. I don't think Valley Girl has a release date because it was supposed to come out in April, and then for some reason they pushed it. But it's like in the tank, so I don't know what's happening with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe more like, okay, what's her next project? Because I think a lot of people are big fans of her as an actress, but she's not breaking out, I think, yet. And I'm wondering if Happy Death Day to You is going to help with that or something, or if there's something she's working on that hasn't been announced. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I think this film has gotten quite a bit of buzz. I think a lot of people like the first one, so
yeah,
I think she has a great future ahead of her, and I'm looking forward to seeing the sequel.
Right on. That's Happy Death Day to You. I also saw the trailer, but I think it was slightly different from the one you saw. The one that was attached to Halloween, which is weird. They played it for that movie, and then they didn't release it online until yesterday. You've been badgering the producers.
I've been badgering quite a bit, and I'm glad they finally ceded to my demands and released the trailer. So I'm looking forward to seeing the film.
The one guy protesting outside the studio.
Yeah. Hey, put it out.
Happy Death Day to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, the last one we have for our most anticipated, which is mine. This one comes out Christmas Day, and that is Vice, the new biographical comedy political drama written and directed by Adam McKay. Adam McKay, of course, did The Big Short. You may remember The Big Short got nominated, actually, for Best Picture, which kind of surprised me.
Best Screenplay.
Best Screenplay, and or was it Best Adapted Screenplay?
Yeah, it was Best Adapted.
Yeah, so he's done a lot of other films you probably like. He did the Anchorman films. He's done Talladega Nights. He's done a lot of films with like very comedic actors. And I think probably one of my favorite films that he's ever done is probably Step Brothers. I know we talked about that lightly last week. I'm definitely one of those people that fully loves Step Brothers, unironically. That said, Vice is a new film he's doing that's all about the life of Dick Cheney, which stars Christian Bale, who I think is a shoo-in for Best Actor at the Oscars. I really think that this one's going to be a winner. Although I don't think anybody's seen it yet. So who knows? It actually could be terrible.
Critics have seen it, but we haven't seen it, right?
Yeah, but have they seen like screeners of it? Because I don't think it's been at any festivals, as far as I know.
No, but there's definitely been critics who've seen it because I've heard very mixed things so far about the film, but I've heard the performances are fantastic.
Okay, so I'm hoping that it's great all around. This one stars Sam Rockwell as George W. Bush. If you've seen the trailer, there's a hysterical energy between Dick Cheney and Sam Rockwell, and this is one of those trailers that I saw that it had such a style and like beat to it that it's one of those trailers that as soon as it ended, I was like, I've got to see this. Yeah. I was a fan of The Big Short. It wasn't my favorite movie by any means, but I definitely walked away from it really liking it. Did you like it, Will?
I did. I mean to see it again because I remember it was one of those films where when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is not what I expected it to be. Mm-hmm. And so I think I was unnecessarily more critical of the film because it wasn't what I expected. And I don't think that's fair to the film. But I did like it, and I think I'd like it more upon rewatch, and I'm pretty excited for this film because it looks like I agree with everything you just said there. Like the trailer is so great, and the only thing that kind of worries me, I'm not 100% sold on Rockwell's George W. Bush. Looks a little bit too cartoonish for me, but everything else just looks really, really great.
I don't think anything can get more cartoonish following Oliver Stone's George Bush movie, the W.
Oh, but W, yeah.
Oh, that was just with Josh Brolin. But yeah. I think that, like you said, the performances here, I think, are the reason to see it. Steve Carell plays Don Rumsfeld. Amy Adams, which it's funny to see here. She plays Lynn Cheney. Her and Christian Bale back together. I think they've done The Fighter. Yeah. They've done American Hustle. All that said, I just think that this one looks like it just looks like a really funny look back at the Bush years, but from the perspective of Cheney, which obviously has like its own merit because I think a lot of people will look at the Big Short, not the Big Short. A lot of people will look back at the George Bush administration through a lot of lens, but Dick Cheney, like, you know, living through that time, he had such a like back, like he was always like in the background, I guess. Yeah. And to see a movie like really look at like his full persona and like his contributions seems really, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think a lot of people are going to get a kick out of seeing him really like kind of brought to light, I guess. So because I have a feeling a lot of people who weren't really politically engaged during those years might not even know a lot of the stuff, especially the stuff before the Bush administration. So that's Vice, comes out Christmas Day. I don't think if your family is very conservative, I doubt they're going to want to check this one out on Christmas Day with you. But yeah, I know I'll be dragging my Republican family to this one. We're going to have a great time. All right. Honorable mentions. What did we leave out? Maverick, what are some of yours? I know a couple we've already mentioned.
I think all of mine are on your guys' list. So
no, there's three you have. I looking at your list. There's three that we didn't mention yet.
I'm also incredibly excited for Vice. That's, you know, it looks really cool. I'm not the most politically educated human being in the world, but I think it's a cool opportunity to learn things that I didn't know before.
The memes we send each other would say different.
My meme game is strong, but my political knowledge is not. Aquaman's on my list as well. I have, you know, it's not, I don't know. I'm worried, but like I'm going to trust that it might be okay.
You're going to be saying I'm worried all the way up until the trailers start.
Yeah, and then I'm still going to be worried. Welcome to Marwen, The Kid Who Would Be King, and Glass are the rest of mine.
I was surprised to see Glass. Did you like Split? Did you see Split?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen Unbreakable either?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, so we got to... I don't know if we should rectify that. I'm not a fan of those movies as much, but...
I haven't seen any of them. The trailer was kind of interesting. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. It's kind of the only reason it was on there.
I think you should definitely check them out. I think you'd at least like Unbreakable.
Yeah. It was funny because Split was... that was one of the first movies Will and I ever talked about when we were forming Cinemaholics. It was like one of our prototypes. Yeah. And now, look at us now.
Yeah.
Bitterly...
How far we've come.
How much now we're fighting over Happy Death Day. We're fighting over Sully.
Yeah. Well, was talking about with you, I think Glass. I mean, unless if everything goes according to schedule, that'll be our 100th episode. So things will come full circle.
Yeah, it'll probably be terrible.
Yeah.
Will Ashton, what are some of your honorable mentions? I know there's a lot.
Yeah, so of the ones we've already mentioned, Spider-Man, really looking forward to it as well. Vice, The Mule. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big Clint Eastwood fan, but this one, the trailer really gets me excited. I don't know if the film's going to be very good, but I think his performance is going to be strong, so I'm looking forward to that. Vox Lux as well, and Alita Battle Angel. As far as the ones we haven't mentioned yet, Mortal Engines, I'm actually really looking forward to. I'm a big Peter Jackson fan. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. I'm also looking forward to. He has a film coming out in December as well that I forgot to put on my list. The documentary. Do you know what I'm talking about, John?
From Peter Jackson?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
I'll pull it up. Forget he directed though. It's getting really good reviews, but it's only going to be like a Fathom event for a couple of days. So I forget what it's called, but while I try to remember what that is, I also have as well Welcome to Marwen. Not really sure. This is a big question mark for me. The trailers are not doing it for me, but Robert Zemeckis is one of my favorite filmmakers, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, expecting the worst but hoping for the best. Glass, The Kid Who Would Be King. Joe Cornish did that, who did Attack the Block. This is his sophomore film, so looking forward to that. Destroyer with Nicole Kidman and the girl that did The Invitation. Mm-hmm. I forget her name. I apologize, but she directed it. The House that Jack Built. I've been hearing very, very mixed things about the new Lars von Trier movie. But
I heard that if you like the scene in Suspiria, that's like where everything goes to hell, then you're supposed to like The House that Jack Built. So that's what I was told. I'm not a fan of Lars von Trier at all. I dislike all of his. Not even Melancholia close for me. But
what about Antichrist?
I hate Antichrist.
You hate Antichrist.
I hate Nymphomaniac.
Okay. Well, I'm not crazy about Nymphomaniac, but Antichrist I think is a lot of fun. Probably the most fun movie that I will never watch again.
It's just not for me personally.
Yeah. Dumpling. I'm just putting this on there because Dolly Parton is involved. How to Train Your Dragon 3, Miss Balia. I really like the original Miss Balia, so I'm curious to see what the remake does. All-Star Weekend, I believe that's a Jamie Foxx directed movie. Yeah. We haven't seen anything about it yet, but I don't know. I'm hoping it's good. That's a blind recommendation for me. And then Roma, which I hope I get to see in theaters, but it doesn't seem likely. And the movie I was talking about with Peter Jackson was They Shall Not Grow Old.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling Roma's going to win Best Picture.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to run
over A Star Is Born?
Yeah, I think it's going to beat A Star Is Born. I think Alfonso Cuarón's going to get Best Director. These are my predictions. And I don't think, I forget the name of the actress, but I know she's going to get nominated for Best Actress, the lead in this. And
my prediction was that, I mean, I haven't seen Roma yet, but my guess is that A Star Is Born is probably going to win Best Picture. Alfonso Cuarón, you're right, I think is going to win Best Director. But I think Bradley Cooper's going to win Best Actor because it'll be like a twofer. Like they'll be like, here's your Best Actor and Best Director Oscar.
That's a pretty good guess. Yeah, I guess I'm giving more credence to. I think the Best Director is going to. I think this is one of those years where Best Director and Best Picture are going to be inextricably tied. I think that people are just going to double it up because I think with Roma, I think people are way more impressed with Cuarón than any other director this year, myself included. Roma's a pretty good film. I really hope a lot of people get to see it. All that stuff people have been saying about try to see it in a theater, it's mainly because it's really hard. I think it's going to be hard to watch this on a small screen because like so much of the film is like rotating camera shots that kind of rely on you soaking in all the details to get a lot out of it. It's funny though, because like I definitely don't like Roma as much as some people. Like some people are calling this one a masterpiece, and I think it's like direction wise, it's amazing, and it's like one of those films that will be taught in film schools and all that stuff because like people will be learning like how do you invent with filmmaking when it feels like everything's been done before. But I think in terms of story, to what you're saying, Will, I think that might be what kind of holds it back in terms of Best Picture. I think that people are just really enamored with a movie about Hollywood as it tends to happen. So,
well, I mean, if it does win Best Picture, then that means Alfonso Cuarón, Guillermo del Toro, and then Inarritu will all have Best Pictures under their name. Right?
Yeah, and that would be a huge step forward for Mexican filmmakers. So, and sorry, I said that A Star Is Born is about Hollywood. I should say it's about showbiz. that kind of thing.
Showbiz.
But the original Star is Born was all about Hollywood, and so I still tie those movies together. So, okay, for my honorable mentions, like you will, I'm looking forward to Mortal Engines. I'm a little, to borrow one of your favorite words, I'm a little trepidatious.
Sure.
Just because I do think it does have like that YA vibe. I think they did the right thing though, where they dropped the subtitle with it and just called it Mortal Engines. Subtitle. It was like Mortal Engines, the city of 1,000 planets, and I know that's not really what it is, but it was one of those.
Glad
like
they dropped
YA,
that. That'd be
right.
Confusing.
It was one of those like YA sounding names, and then they like dropped it. I think I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure
it looks like a live action Howl's Moving Castle to me a little bit, and I haven't seen that film, so maybe I'm way off base. But
yeah, well, I mean, it obviously the book really borrows a lot from Miyazaki in general. So I think that I've never read the book, but I've heard it's pretty good. It's one of the better YA ones. So none of you had Bumblebee, but I am kind of looking forward to this one. I get it. I get it. It's a Transformers flick, but
I mean, I'm looking forward to Travis Knight getting more projects, but the film not so much.
I don't know. I'm really hoping this is going to be like the worthy successor to Transformers, which wasn't an amazing movie, but I thought the first one in 2007 was pretty decent. Like it was kind of like a solid B minus, and that's what I'm hoping for Bumblebee because I don't know, it just has like an energy to it that feels more Transformers to me. I'm also looking forward to Holmes and Watson. I talked about Vice before. That one has a lot of producers that are in this realm because it's Adam McKay and like Will Ferrell and all those guys. Well, this one, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly play like a comedic version of Sherlock Holmes that I think looks really fun. I know.
Weird that
the trailer's good.
It's weird that Will Ferrell and Adam McKay have movies coming out on Christmas, but they're two different films.
Right, and Will Ferrell produced Vice, so
that's true.
It's kind of
shooting himself in the foot there.
Well, they're totally different movies. I think that there's room for everybody on the nice list. Okay, so welcome to Marwen. We all have that. I think we're all sort of sufficiently worried about it. But it does look so different and unique that I think that's probably what's tying us all into seeing that one. And Steve Carell, I mean, I think a lot of people were expecting him to get Oscar attention for Beautiful Boy, and I think that's kind of falling apart. So I think Welcome to Marwen is kind of his last chance, I guess, to maybe get a Best Actor nom this year. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win over most other people competing for this category. But and then I'm also looking forward to On the Basis of Sex. I really loved the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary that came out in the summer. I've heard really good things about Felicity Jones' performance here. I know some people aren't in love with what the movie is doing, and I know, Will, you've already seen it and you haven't talked about it yet. But I don't know. It does look like light fluff to me. Like everything feels a little too neat and tidy. I heard this one kind of is like this year's Hidden Figures. But even if I hope it is because I liked Hidden Figures a lot, and I just kind of want to see it. Good.
Hidden Figures was better than this. I'll say that.
Shoot. Well, I'm still gonna see it. I'm also looking for. This is like I think the only January movie any of us have, but Escape Room, I think looks like a trashy horror flick where like people get actually trapped in an escape room that's trying to kill them. So it's kind of like Saw meets I don't know, Trick or Treat or something. But it looks kind of like delightfully scary and stupid, so I kind of want to see that. And as somebody, I like escape rooms in real life, and so I think this is just a fun concept. And we all had The Kid Who Would Be King, which that is a movie that I cannot believe I'm looking forward to this one because like the concept is so dumb, and like the trailer when it starts, I was a little bit like, it just looks like kind of a whatever movie, but like that trailer really like sells you by the end on this one being good, especially because it is the Attack the Block director. So.
Joe Cornish,
yeah. So and like you, Will, I'm looking forward to the new Lego movie. I do want to see the new Happy Death Day to You. I just think that's I'm a little disappointed it's not coming out around like Halloween or anything. But that would be much better. But Valentine's Day is still nice. They're doing the community thing where they celebrate Halloween on Valentine's Day. And then also we both said How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. Maverick, you seen any of the How to Train Your Dragons?
I saw the first one and I really, really liked it.
Did you not see the second one?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think I've seen parts of it, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
I think the first two are like the same amount of good. I really like them.
That's interesting.
You like the first one better, Will?
You definitely like the first one better.
I really like the second one, honestly. I think that it's...
I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Well, it has my favorite scene from any of the movies, which is the where his dad serenades his mom. I think it's just a beautiful moment.
It's a nice moment, yeah.
Yeah, but The Hidden World, I gotta say, like, it's not selling me. It's Goodwill, the franchise, is what's going to get me to see this, but none of the trailers have made me hopeful that this is going to be any good. I just think it looks really plain and by the numbers. And then Mary Queen of Scots we didn't mention, but this is like I'm excited about it. But The Favorite is one of my favorite movies of the year, and this has been compared a lot because they're both like period pieces with strong contenders for Best Actress. Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie are in this. They have yet to win an Oscar, but The Favorite, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz have already won Oscars, and Olivia Colman should win Best Actress in the Academy Awards. I mean, I haven't really given it a ton of thought, but like my heart is telling me she should win an Oscar, either for Best Actress or Best Supporting. Should be Best Actress. But I still want to see Mary Queen of Scots. I think that it could be good. I'm not expecting it to be anywhere near as devilishly funny and interesting and original and fun as The Favorite. So, but I still want to see it. And then Cold War, which you saw that this week, right, Will?
I did, yeah. I saw that in lieu of The House that Jack Built.
Should I see it? Can you just give me a... Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I think I'm allowed to talk about it, I think. Yeah, it's a good film.
Cool.
Did you see Ida?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's the same director, so definitely similar style. So I feel like if people really liked Ida or didn't like Ida, that will inform how they feel about Cold War. But it's definitely a good film.
Yeah. So those are all of our honorable mentions. And yes, we couldn't find a way to fit A Dog's Way Home in this one. I'm very sorry. Have you seen the trailer for that?
I don't think so.
They showed the trailer before Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I've never seen a crowd get so visibly angry at a movie trailer. I want to spoil it because it's just like, it's so funny. But
does the dog die in the trailer? Or?
No, it's just, I don't want to go through it, but it's a funny experience. I want to preserve it for some people. But that said, one that we didn't mention is Ben is Back. I'm not looking forward to that one because I'm a little Lucas Hedges out, or I'm a little just like, I feel like it's the same role in like everything at this point. But I
still need to see Ben before I see his return.
Right, and that's what you got to see Mary Poppins.
Yeah, there
returns. You go. Yeah. But okay, that's all. We've talked about a lot of movies this week, but there are still some films coming out next week. But there's no major wide releases. It's kind of a weird time. We have Once Upon a Deadpool, which comes out December 12th. So that's going to be coming out in about a week and a half.
Is that a new film, or is that just a new version of the sequel?
It is a Deadpool re-release, I want to say, is what I think what they're calling it, because it's a holiday movie. It's only PG-13.
Yeah.
And
for the
kids, yeah. Fred Savage is in it. They're kind of parodying Princess Bride, I guess. I don't know exactly what they're going for here, but I can't say that I'm not interested. So, especially because I was so let down personally by Deadpool 2. But okay, so there's no major wide releases coming out on December 7th. They're doing a re-release for Schindler's List, but that's about it. But some of the films there's a lot of limited releases hitting theaters. It is weird because like this should to me be the week that Spider-Man comes out or Mortal Engines.
Yeah, or one of these things.
Yeah, because
push something up.
December's packed, man. Like everything's going to be hitting us all at once. But next week is kind of a dead zone.
Put Mary Poppins up there.
That's right. And we can't talk about Mary Poppins next week, but hopefully next week we can talk about an indie film. Will, if you can catch The Favorite, that would be amazing.
That'd be great. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, if we could do that, we could talk about it. But yeah, Tyrell's coming out limited release. Asher, like we mentioned, Ben is Back. Claire's Ghost. Dumplin', which you mentioned, Will, is going to be hitting a limited theatrical run, and I think that doesn't hit Netflix until later in December. Okay. Mary Queen of Scots comes out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch it, But Vox Lux also comes out this week, and I'll be seeing it tomorrow. So hopefully I can talk about it in mini reviews or something. But yeah, definitely a weird week. I hope we listeners will be sending out our poll as always. And if you have any ideas for us, please send them our way. Just email us anytime. cinemaholicspodcast@gmail.com. And as we mentioned, you can find more episodes of this podcast on atomtickets.com. And I want to say, Will Ashton, that we're going to do like a best movies of the year episode, but that might be hard to do at the end of the month because it's going to be so packed. So we're either going to probably do it next week or we're going to do it in January, which next week might be too early. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it in January. I still got to catch up on a bunch of stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, that'll do it for this week's episode of Cinemaholics. You can review and rate this podcast and send us love and warmth and all of your ratings on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, all that stuff. And our social pages, we're on Facebook and Twitter. You can find links to that in the show notes. You can find links to everything that we're doing in the show notes. If you want to find more of our work, if you want to hang out with us on Twitter, all of that. And we'll be back next week to talk about who knows what. But from the Internet, California, I am John Negroni.
From the Internet, Pennsylvania, I'm Will Ashton.
And from the basement, I am Maverick Hines.
See you next time.